What is going on, everybody? It is a wonderful Friday morning in late August, the dog days of summer. We got a lot of baseball, Jake. A lot of sweeps happened. We'll get into that. There's some disturbing news about gas stations. There's some people in hard slumps, and there's some people in fuego. Let's talk about all of it.
Talking baseball.
Talking baseball. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show, Talkin' Baseball. I'm your host, John Boy, and you got your other host, Jake, coming to you from a Starbucks in Oklahoma. Is that correct?
McDonald's, Jim, in Eufaula, Oklahoma. I am happy to see your smiling face. We've got some classics have just kicked in on the radio, including The Lion Sleeps Tonight. We've had Runaround Sue. And yeah, we're going to run into some elements. I can't tell you how happy I am to see and hear you properly after what we went through on Talking Yanks last night.
Oh, there's a little kid on the show.
Yeah, he'll get involved. I think he'll be moving. He'll be a first half of the show. But yeah, man, I'm doing well. We're here for a fantasy football draft guys weekend, boating and golfing, and it is downpouring outside. There's no internet for anyone to do anything, so we're kind of bottoming, but we're about to peak. I feel it. I'm going whopper to flopper.
Wow, nice. Yeah. All right. Well, yesterday, for those who want a little behind the scenes, yesterday the Yankees game ended at 1 a.m. Eastern time, so that means we have to start recording Talking Yanks. Then I was up till 3:30, and I said on the show, if I wake up and it's 80 degrees or higher tomorrow, I'm just going to be so mad. I'm so sick of summer. I'm so sick of the heat. Guess what, Jake? I woke up, it's 70 and raining all day. When my girlfriend Caitlin told me that, biggest smile on my face. Then we were at a coffee, and I was like, I need coffee to do Talking Baseball. I just didn't get any sleep. I started walking to the car, realized that I had a 5-hour energy in the fridge because the gas station has a $10 minimum, and whenever I need to hit the $10, I just load up on 5 hours, and then I guess I'll drink these later on because they're the most expensive thing that gets me over the $10 cap right quick. So that made me happy. So the weather being bad, and didn't have to go out for coffee. I'm all sorts of perked up. We are running late because there's a lot of just technical difficulties and sleep deprivation, but we're here. We're ready to talk some baseball.
Contrary to where we were a few hours ago, we are on the up and up, Jim.
Yeah. Jake was coming to me from the like original internet last night.
I came to you from 1989, literally.
It was time travel.
Bizarre. I don't get it. I do not get it. I can't talk about that, Jim. I want to talk about the baseball and maybe some beautiful people.
Maybe, yeah. Here's some beautiful people that are sponsoring this episode of Talkin' Baseball. This very special August 23rd episode of Talkin' Baseball, in which Jake is coming to you from a McDonald's. We have Zach Nicaro. Nicaro. Zenak. Scooterfish88, birth name. That was his birth name.
Polish, huh?
Yeah, we're all asshole parents. Oh, honey, what
Jerks.
do you think about Scooterfish88?
Punch it. Sounds great.
Honey, I love it. Kevin Wallace. Nice solid Scottish name. Is Wallace Scottish, or is that just
William Wallace? I don't know.
It's just Chelsea Meister.
The Meister.
The Meister. I'm like, the Meister's a fun last name. Amy Solomon.
Thanks, Amy Solomon.
Hugh.
Strong.
Sean. I had before the YouTube blew up, when we only had like 3,000 or 2,000 subscribers. My biggest, most loyal subscriber was a guy who went by the moniker Hugh Anus. Which
I could say it. I'll lose a lot of friends at my current location, but yeah, Hugh Janus.
Yeah. Jeff Van Fossen.
Good pitcher name.
Michael Bobo. Ooh, wow.
Whoa.
Can't be his last name, right? Bobo?
Maybe. I think there's actual Bobos out there.
That's fun. Dominic Fraticelli?
Yeah, good paisan, huh?
Jason Welch. Hank Van Wart. Wow, two Vans. Jeff Van Fossen, Hank Van Wart. Full of Vans.
Man, on talking Yanks, it's the mix. On this, it's the Vans, huh?
Yeah, and Mike Martin. Those are our most recent Patreon supporters and subscribers. $2 a month. Get a chance to win 2 jerseys. You get a chance. 2 jerseys are given out every month. You get to be in the chat. We got Austin, Jason, John, Andrew in the chat right now. So they're watching live and can be part of the show. We've had some Slump Watch like submissions from the chat recently. Some Infuego submissions, so that's cool.
Love
so
that.
It really helps us out. We appreciate it. So that's that, Jake. How you doing?
Loaded question, man. What do you want to hear?
Were you able to watch a lot of the games this week?
Yeah, man. I watched a ton of baseball. It was fun going through the reports. I know you and I were on West Coast time, so it was kind of funny. I had more of a West Coast spin this week, and there was a couple that popped out. A couple of the interleague ones jumped out big time. But yeah, I'm doing well, man. And again, from where I was a few hours ago, I'm in a great place. So I'm just gonna keep pushing that.
You checking out any of the Little League World Series? Are we allowed to talk other baseball on Talking Baseball just for a
Ooh,
second?
I guess that is baseball. No, I mean I saw the Jersey Shuffle, but they're who should I begin behind?
Oh, this dude on the team from Louisiana, I believe. His name is Reese Russo.
Oh yeah, alliteration.
He went 4 for 4 yesterday in the elimination game in the semifinal for the U.S. side with a grand slam. He has 13 hits in 4 games.
Like that guy's gonna have a successful life. Like that's when you have that confidence as a 12-year-old. That's it.
He's got a nice, pretty lefty swing, so good for him. The Japanese team infield is crazy. They changed it up last year, and this will be the end of the Little League combo. But it used to be if you just made contact, you hit a home run. Like it was wildly bizarre. And last year they switched the bats. So now it's actually like a lot of defense, a lot of base hits, a lot of scoring from second.
And they moved the fences back, 3-4 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, but that didn't even make a difference. There were still like 61 home runs in 12 games in 2000.
Right, but I'm saying now that with the bats, I mean, that's a little oomph.
They need to move the bases. It needs to become 50-70. I think they'll get there soon. But, yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool. So the U.S. final is today. Gotta watch that.
Yeah? Who's playing? Louisiana and someone?
Hawaii versus Louisiana.
Hawaii's always tough.
Class of cultures. Hawaii is always tough. It feels like whatever. Like it feels like Hawaii gets like a conglomerate team, not a small town, but I think they are just small town teams. Like Hawaii is always so good.
Ballers.
Yeah, good. All right, let's go into the Major League Baseball. I am bringing you your National League report today, Jake. But you know who's really bringing you the National League report? Our friends at Roosevelt Shirts. You've definitely seen Roosevelt shirts out and about if you're a baseball fan. A lot of MLB players wear them constantly. And there's no vowels in the name. It's RSVLTS. They're super comfortable. Jake and I are about to get ourselves some. They got like really fun designs. They like to say that their shirts are conversation starters. You can't wear them somewhere and not have someone be like, "Ooh, I like that shirt. Where'd you get that shirt?"
That might be a good way to describe my wardrobe in general. Just conversation starters.
Yeah. Have you picked out which one you're getting yet?
Well, I think I need the Savages Yankee one, right? I mean,
it's not available to the public. That was a special for just
wow, that's
Yankee.
Marketing, huh? That's business.
Yeah.
You saw there's that one Miami Vice one that's speaking my linguity. But yeah, I'm Papi Gordo's gonna load up.
Yeah, so go to Roosevelt's, check out their shirts. They're comfortable, they're fun, they got a lot of stuff. And they reached out to us at John Boy Media and said, we want in on what you guys are doing. And we love that. That is awesome. So we support them. They support us. If you go to rsvlts.com/johnboy, that's rsvlts.com/johnboy, you can get 15% off your next order. That link takes you straight to a page where they put like all their baseball shirts. They do have other pop culture ones, but that's baseball. So anyway, they're bringing you your National League report today, and it is as follows.
What happened, Jim? Tell me, big.
What happened is the Nationals went to Pittsburgh and split a 4-game set. The 2 games they won, they blew them out, but they got to win that series, Jake. It was a week full of sweeps, and the Nationals did not even win 3 versus the Pirates. Come on. The Phillies swept a 2-game set versus the Red Sox. A good start from Aaron Nola in Game 1 and some RBIs from Harper. And Corey Dickerson got in the mix in Game 2. Good job by the Phillies there. They win 2. The Reds took 2 out of 3 from the Padres in the Nothing Matters Ball. All low-scoring games and 3 really good pitching performances from the Reds. I think it was Bauer, Sonny Gray, and Castillo all had good outings. The Reds won 2 out of 3, but the Reds right now are playing for next year, and so are the Padres, and the Reds just beat them. Battle for let's be good next year, Reds won. The Mets welcomed the Cleveland Indians to town and swept them right away, Jake. They walked them off in Game 2. They shut them out in Game 3. Syndergaard and the defense doing big things. Good for the Mets. Good, like really good for the Mets. Happy for him. The Braves swept the Marlins, as they should. 3 good starts from Keuchel, Tehran, and Soroka. So good pitching all around in the National League East. The NL Central, Jake, had a big showdown. The Cardinals and the Brewers, 2 teams in the mix to win that division. St. Louis won the first 2, but could not finish the sweep. Good job by the Cardinals. Not the best job by the Brewers, but you did salvage the series. While those 2 teams were battling it out, the Cubs swept the Giants to get back into first place or solidify first place. Game 2 was an absolute slugfest that ended with a score of 12-11. The next day was a 1-0 ball game. Ain't that baseball? You had 23 runs scored. The next day you had 1. Gotta love it. The Rockies beat the Diamondbacks in a 3-game set that I didn't delve into, besides might have a standout performance coming from there. And the Dodgers swept the Baby Jays, walked them off 2 nights in a row, said, hey, we know you guys are good, but you ain't spoiling shit for us. That is your National League report. Like I said, a lot of sweeps and a lot of good teams doing good things besides the Brewers and the Nationals.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the standings right now, all the teams on top of the divisions, your Cubs have won 5 straight, the Dodgers have won 3 straight, and Atlanta's won 5 straight. So they're starting to move. I mean, the Central is still the Central. The Cubs have a half-game lead on the Cardinals right now. The team that's worrisome, and I think I'll start there just so we can talk about the good stuff. The Brewers. Are we raising a yellow flag for the Brew Crew?
I don't know yet. You know, the Cardinals are good and they're on fire right now. The Brewers are now 4 games out in the division with the Cubs sweeping and that. I don't know how many more games the Brewers have against the Cubs and the Cardinals. I can check that out real quick. I'm not too worried if I'm the Brewers fan, unless there's something that I don't know about, injuries or, you know, just someone's like gone to shit that I'm not aware of.
I think the only thing that's jumping into my mind on that level would be, I feel like the Brewers' identity last year was how strong that bullpen was. Hader, Jeffress, everyone that was coming out.
Hader's a problem. That's the problem.
I mean, it feels like that's been bad, which if you have a bad bullpen, that's tough anyways. But also, I mean, that was like that team's identity, and that feels gone right now.
No, they're fine, man. I mean, the Brewers, if they can collect themselves, they have 6 games left against the Cardinals and 7 games left against the Cubs. So they
still control.
They can still control their own destiny in a sense. But I mean, if you're looking at just what happened this week, they lost ground in the division and they become they have 4 teams ahead of them for the wild card now. They have the Phillies, the Mets, the Cardinals, and the Nationals ahead of them for the wild card. So yeah, the Brewers had a tough week standings wise. I mean, they can make up for it, but not the
Right, and
best.
the number crunch becomes this is definitely some turkey mac, but yeah, you got to jump 4 teams in, or 3 teams in the wild card, 2 teams in your own division. It's I don't know when you start looking at the teams you have to be better in than the games. I think that's a better way to look at it.
Yeah, yeah. And then in the Braves sweep, they do what they do. A lot of Acuna this series. I mean, he got
I'm
benched.
starting to like that guy.
He got benched, and then the very next game he gets thrown at again on purpose or not. Who knows? But the Marlins have hit him a ton, 3 times now, and his manager gets ejected defending him, and then the walk off in the last game of the series. So he's putting his stamp all over everything these days.
Yeah, and you might hear a little Brian Snitker and who got mad later.
Who got mad? Yeah, yeah. The Mets are coming for the Nationals, man. They're coming for the wild card. They're game and a half out. The Mets are 7 games over 500, and they're I was hesitant, and I'm not regretting my hesitancy. I think it was warranted. But when they had that really good stretch against the Pirates and the Marlins, I said, well, let's wait. Let's wait and see how the Mets fare against, the Indians and the Nationals and the Braves when they come to town. Well, they won 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. They lost 2 out of 3 from the Braves. They win 2 out of 3 from the Royals. They should have, but they just swept the Indians. They got their next stretch is the Braves and then the Cubs for 6 more games. So they're good right now. They have a lot of momentum, and they're playing like a cohesive unit that's having a lot of fun. So the Mets are doing big things. I know Mets fans, majority of them are still like waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it's another big test. 2 more big series coming up. I don't know. Go 500. Go 500 against the Braves and the Cubs, and I think you're still in a good spot. Then they play the Phillies and the Nats after that. Wow, it's actually it's a lot of. Wow, it's 4 series in a row for the Mets now. 5. They play the Phillies again after. Holy shit, what a tough schedule. I mean,
Yeah, that's why you were you had your big hesitation. It was less taking care of Pittsburgh and Miami. It was more so. I mean, they've got what like 7-8 series in a row against really good teams.
yeah. Braves, Cubs, Phillies, Nats, Phillies. That's
But Jim,
5. That's 6 series in a row, including this Cleveland one that they just swept. Good for them. 6 series in a row against contending teams. And then they have 4 games against the Diamondbacks. That's a somewhat of a breather, and then 3 against the Dodgers. Wow, man, that's a really tough stretch for the Mets. They can beat those teams and play with those teams. It's just like every night. Okay, this is a big game. Okay, this is a big game. Okay, this is a big game. It's going to get exhausting.
They're gonna have to earn it, man. But they believe they're the amazing Mets right now. They believe their fans, the crowd believes. Yeah, man. The JD Davis walk off was a lot of fun. And dude, we've seen the Indians recently. They've been one of the best teams in baseball, and they're super balanced. Like the Indians can beat you with their pitching or their hitting. And I mean, now the Mets are bringing it in all aspects. It's not just like bank on our pitching. It's our hitting's going to give you trouble. They're doing some things defensively. I remember when they traded for Stroman, the joke was about all of Stroman's ground balls and how the Mets basically had the worst defensive infield measured out in recent years. And man, it's awesome. And I think Jim, this might sound corny to some people. I think baseball truists will believe it. They got magic right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get put to the test. But that's exciting for the Mets. Did you see Davis's catch in left yesterday with Syndergaard?
I'm not sure. I think so.
Running backwards, just kind of puts the glove out and back to the wall catch. It was pretty good.
Little Angels in the outfield. What's the skill to luck ratio?
Well, he took a good route, so that's always skill.
And I think, Jim, you'll remember this. One of our first episodes of Talking Baseball, we were talking Mets, and I reached out. I was asking Mets fans, I was like, tell me what's up with JD Davis. I see him in the meat of the lineup. It looks like he can hit a little bit. It didn't seem like he had a position. If he could find a position and the hitting stuff is real, I mean, JD Davis is a good ball player.
Yeah, I think like an Alex Gordon, Brett Gardner, really good left fielder might track that down looking with the hand up.
Right.
So it so I don't know. It was a good catch though. And then Alonso fields the ground ball, tosses it to Syndergaard, like bobbles it a little, and they like arm pound and then chest bump, and Syndergaard kind of laughs because like Alonso's just this fucking like fired up meathead kid.
It's
Like
almost
a
it's
full on
not.
chest bump.
We see football intensity in baseball. Like you could peg guys that are football guys playing baseball. Alonso's like like military intensity or something.
Alonso does things that I've never done unironically.
Right.
And he does them seriously. Like I've never made a good play in sports and seriously like let's chest bump like just naturally. Like if I do, it's like playing spike ball on the beach and like you know like that was just even when I played sports as a young youth. That was like I was never like, dude, we can't actually do that. But that's how he operates, man.
And it's so genuine and it's so real. So good for Pete, man.
Yeah, he's bringing a lot of excitement. I mean, his 40 home runs help too. Yeah, but good for
Isn't that crazy, Jim? I think we do this. This was before talking baseball. I don't think we said anything, but I remember when Alonso came up and he was hot. People were Mets fans were saying like, "Yeah, man, this guy's our Judge," and everyone was like, "Chill out, okay? Judge hit 53 homers. He's a stud defensively. Blah blah blah." Alonso's eyeing that 50 burger himself. So I guess kudos to Mets fans that were partially talking out of their butt at the time.
Yeah. Well, they said that about Conforto too for a while.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Jim. They lost that game because they said Conforto was the next Judge, and he's nice, but
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing I want to say is I know this doesn't matter much, but the Reds and the Padres, like I kind of said, two teams that are playing for next year. Like, hey, let's finish strong because next year we're doing damage, you know? And the Reds pitching, man. Trevor Bauer with a good start. 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 11 strikeouts. I wonder if that's his first, like, because I know he had been struggling in Cincy.
I think he's had two good since he starts. I think I could be wrong.
I got it up right now. So since the trade, yeah, he had a 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 11 Ks. So he's got 4 starts now, and this was his second good one. So he pitches the first game, 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 11 Ks. In the second game, you got Sonny Gray. He goes 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 10 Ks. So you got 1 earned run again, double-digit Ks. And then in the third game, you got Castillo. He goes 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run as well. I mean, I don't know. I know that they're out of contention, so you're not going to talk about them that much, but the Reds got some arms.
Yeah, and Jim, I think you might see them try to fight for 500. I think they're 6 games under 500. I think they're 60 and 66, something like that. Like 500 for them, that would be a big thing they could rally around. And dude, Sonny Gray could be on Enfuego every week, which is killing our souls a little bit. And dude, how about Luis Castillo might have had the highlight of the weekend when he when he just broke that person. Who was up, but he just threw him 3 dirty pitches and they were all over the place.
I can't think of it.
I can track it down in a minute. I'll get there. But yeah, man, the Reds like they have something to play for. I think that's what you're saying in a roundabout way.
Yeah, their pitching is just impressive. The Braves also with the sweep of the Marlins on 3 good outings as well.
Always.
Braves are better than they're good. They're good. Every step of the way, they're good. And I kind of love everything. I said in my breakdown that Snitker kind of threw Acuna under the bus, and people didn't like that. I guess it's not the best term because I don't think he really threw him. I think a lot of managers, especially in the East Coast, would in New York or Boston would keep all of that in house and say that's internal. Like when he took him out for not hustling. You know what it is, but I don't think they'd say it to the reporters and the media. Like, yeah, that's something we can't do. He put himself ahead of the team, and that's not something we're gonna do. I don't think you can do that in New York and Boston because the media will fucking make that player into a bad guy. For real. Like we've seen that with Gary Sanchez. They will eat. So I think in the Atlanta market it played because all the fans were like, yeah, teach him a lesson. That's good. Like we still like him because there's a lot of reasonable, like kind of like nice people. So but what I'm trying to say is I think that actually helps the Braves moving forward. It was a good message all around. And the fact that Acuna responded, he has his back, and then Acuna hits the walk-off, and everything's like great now. It's like, wow, I think the Braves are golden moving forward.
Yeah, and Jim, we get lost in that a little bit just because, I mean, think about it. We've seen problems with some players on the Yankees this year, and at the time you're like, yo, this is huge. They did so-and-so with the media, so-and-so with the media. By the next series, it honestly usually goes away unless something else happens to multiply it. This was perfect. They come out, they sweep. They won the game that Acuna got benched in. And yeah, now it's just like, oh, it happened. Let's move forward. And I think it is funny you mentioned New York there. I think the bigger thing is like how respected the manager and the players are, because if that goes sourly, Snitker could have got killed.
Yeah. Yeah. They all handled it really well. So that's good for them. Good for them. Let's move on to the AL, Jake. I got to hear what happened. I know a little bit. I don't know a lot. And guess what? We got more people that want to be involved in what we're doing here. And the AL report is brought to you by Vincero Watches. You a watch guy? You like being able to tell the time?
I had this exciting moment the other day. I'll bring down the curtain a little bit. Things are going pretty well, and some companies are reaching out to us to get involved, and it's really cool. And dude, I had the light bulb go off, and I was like, "Yo, watch company would be pretty big for me. I like watches, but I never like go out of my way to get my watch game going."
Yeah, well, here you go. Because the American League report, which you're bringing to us, is sponsored by Vincero Watches. And let's see. Let's see what happens. They say life happens and it's easy to forget what's important. Vincero crafts their products to be the spark that reminds people to go after what they want in life. What do you want in life, Jake? A watch? We got it.
I need that watch. I don't want it. I need it.
Yo, they're pretty nice watches. They're really nice. You can check out Vincero and use our code for 15% off. I think they also have a landing page, vincero.com/JohnBoy. Oh, vincerowatches.com/JohnBoy. Use code JohnBoy, 15% off. Go get a watch, put it on your wrist, or you can dangle it from your thigh if you wanted to be cool. My grandpa was doing that. Took a bullet in World War II. It hit the watch, saved his life, would have hit an artery. I have the bullet and the watch and the Purple Heart. Hell yeah. Okay, well, that was a weird way to end that sponsorship, but...
No, I've got a weirder way, Jim. Why have we decided that the watch is a wrist thing? Why not a neck thing? Why not a calf thing? Why not a thigh thing? Like, when you said hanging from your thigh, I thought you meant like wrapped around his thigh. I think we could change the game.
From belt loop. I think it's just the easiest way to look at it. Like neck, that would be kind of hard.
Jim, belt loop watch is the smartest thing I've ever heard a human say.
Well, it's a thing. Pocket watch.
Oh, no. I mean, like, where your belt buckle connects, it should be a watch.
Oh, you just flip it up to look at it?
Boom. It's fashionista. It's insane.
We'll get in touch with Vincero. Go check them out, guys. If you need a watch or you don't, do it. Jake, what happened in the American League? Please let me know.
Jimmy in the American League. As you know, our New York Yankees went to their little house of horrors in Oakland, California. They get swept and abused by the Athletics. Zero hope in the whole series for the Yankees. Kind of the theme of my past couple days. The Tampa Bay Rays, they hosted your Seattle Marineros, and they get sauced, Jim, as the Mariners win the first two games of the three-game set. Tom Murphy hitting home runs like they're going out of style. That's a cool phrase. That's kind of what's going on with the music here. The Red Sox pull a Talkin baseball first, Jim. They win a walk-off / finish a game that was suspended with Kansas City, but They get beat in both their games in the actual series against the fighting Phils. Toronto, Jim, you mentioned the Baby Jays. They went to Los Angeles and they actually won 2 games if they were 8 innings, but then they got walked off on, so they get swept casually by the Dodgers. The Baltimore Orioles hosted your Kansas City Royals. Am I in Royals country right now? Royals win 1 game by a run, and they lose games 2 and 3 because they only scored a run in each game. So, Jim, in the Central, the Royals lost to the O's. What else happened? The Minnesota Twinkies hosted the White Sox and lose 2 out of 3, Jim. The Twinkies to the White Sox, including getting shut up by Lucas Giolito, the girl from Giolito. He's lovely. The Cleveland Indians, you talked about them. They ran into the amazing Mets. They get swept. Tough times for some top teams in the East. A lot of T words. The Detroit Tigers, T words. They lose 3 out of 4 to Houston, but they won the war, Jim, winning the baseball game with the worst odds in the past 15 years. Sports are the best. And in the West, Houston won yet lost to the Tigers. Oakland dominated the Yankees, and Seattle won a series in Tampa. The final series in the AL, the Texas Rangers, I think I might be in Rangers company, they win 3 out of 4 versus the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, including, Jim, you'll like this, a pair of 8-7 walk-off victories on the bookend games of the series.
Wowzer. A lot of stuff going on, Jake.
What jumped out to you, Jim? What do you like?
I'm gonna be rude. What jumped out to me is how many series I straight up don't care about that happened in the AL.
Wow. Shots fired to the AL.
The AL is way more exciting. The NL is way more exciting. I mean, come on, Baltimore versus the Royals.
What about it?
Detroit, man. As this winds down, the AL just kind of blows.
A couple blah series. Maybe we'll talk about the good ones.
So what really sucks is that the Minnesota Twins couldn't take advantage of the Mets sweeping the Indians. I mean, they get 1 game because they won 1 game and the Indians won 0 games. But Twins could have done some big things right there. And like we've said, these teams still have games against each other, so it's going to come down to the results of them. But this would have been a good way for the Twins to get a leg up before these games start. And good job by the White Sox. And Giolito, we'll be talking about him later. So that's a bummer if you're a Twins fan. Could have really put a gap there.
The biggest thing the Twins have had going for them is they do have, I think, the easiest schedule the rest of the way. White Sox are a part of that. And you did miss an opportunity, although you can't blame them against Giolito right now, like you were saying.
Yeah, no, it was really good. The other thing that jumps out to me is that weird Red Sox set. That's just weird, man. I would do a breakdown about it, but it was 13 minutes long. And did you see? So if anyone doesn't know, it got postponed.
The breakdown was just the game.
It got postponed, and it was tied in the 11th. Red Sox get some outs real quick, and then they come up, and there was double intentional walk, double by Brock Holt. And Brock Holt to celebrate the walk-off. I was like, are they really going to celebrate this walk-off? Because it's, can you even muster up that energy to celebrate this as a walk-off when it's so weird? And they kind of did, but Brock Holt ran and slid at home plate in a weird way. I don't know. Did you see that visual? It's weird.
It was funny. We were talking to one of our buddies that's a Red Sox fan, and these are his words, not ours. Brock Holt said it was the most energy he's felt all year, and our buddy who's a Red Sox fan was like, I kind of took offense to that.
Yeah, it was general admission. Anyone can go in, but interesting. But the other thing is the Mariners taking 2 from the Rays. The Rays have been really hot lately, with the Yankees getting swept. I'm thankful to the Mariners.
Jimmy, I mean, this is kind of what I was alluding to a little bit. Yanks and Rays, they have a bad time. Cleveland and Minnesota, they have a bad time. Oakland, I mean, they're the big winners in all of this, kind of. But I mean, and Houston did really well too. But it was against Detroit, and the one game they lost was one of the highlights of baseball this year. So tough time to be a top team in the AL.
Yeah, where in the NL, a lot of the top teams won. So interesting. Yeah, that's good. That's a good call. I don't
Thanks,
feel
Jim.
that. I don't feel that bad about the Yankees getting swept anymore.
You should tweet it out. Make the people happy.
The Yankees suck in Oakland. Not to say Oakland's not a good baseball team right now, playing really well. I've been singing their praises for a while, but the Yankees' record when they go to Oakland in the last three seasons is now 1-9, and I think over the last 10, it's like terrible as well. So that's not fun for Yankees fans who have the Dodgers coming up. That should be a fun. That'll be a fun matchup. Two best records in baseball, hanging out for Players Weekend.
Do you think the Yankees? Because Jim, you were on this to a degree. Because I mean, the A's and the Yankees, those are teams that could see each other in the playoffs. The A's, like you mentioned, the Coliseum is always rocking when the Yankees come to town. These are big games for Oakland as they fight for the wild card. You were saying that the A's and Yankees series was going to be more intense, which I think you're all over and right on. Do you think because the Yankees did get swept, do you think they're going to try to turn the knob up against the Dodgers? Do you think they even can just because it's a West Coast swing or what?
No, I don't think. I don't think these Yankees Dodgers games are going to be intense at all. The Yes Network was talking about how they're going to have like a guest every inning. That's some spring training shit. It's going to be Players Weekend. Both teams are going to be wearing black. So, from a fan's perspective, I think this is going to be like a giant exhibition, and it's going to be so overhyped. Maybe the games are good, but I don't think either team is going to be pulling out all the stops. This is a must-win. I think health and rest are still more important for both teams.
Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned a person in the booth every inning. That's kind of our nightmare, just being a part of every game. Um, but yeah, I think I want to see it happen. I hope we get some good baseball. I mean, the Yankees, as Yankees fans, we will admit, it would be nice to have some hope. Because that Oakland series, there was basically no hope for the Yankees throughout. They got destroyed. So yeah, I'm hoping it's good baseball. There are some great pitching matchups. I mean, Herman versus Kershaw on Sunday. If that's a rubber match, that could be a lot of fun. And I don't know where, knock on wood, the Yanks need it bad, but I think today is Paxton Ryu, which
Yeah.
I mean that can be some awesome southpaw baseball.
Yeah. Hayden in the chat saying World Series preview, and so did Andrew, and I think a lot of people are going to say that, and I just don't think it's going to be played like the World Series. I think if you had to put World Series and spring training on the scale of how each team attacks this, I think I'd lean spring training.
Yeah, I don't know. I think these games still matter, and once
I
once
don't.
in
I
it,
so that's the I don't think they matter like at
yeah.
all.
And Jim, I think it's funny you said, a lot of people would say this is a World Series preview. A lot of people accept a lot of Yankee fans because all the Yankee fans are out on this first place Yankees team.
Oh yeah. Yankee fans do not like this Yankees team that has the second best record in baseball and the best record in the AL. So that's that. Anything else? Anything else we got to do before we move on?
Let me do a quick scroll. My young baby friend left. That was classic. It was prototypical. Dad had to watch the kid for a little bit and just brought him to McDanks and was like, I'm going to corner him in a booth with like the kiddie TV screen. And the kid was the perfect age that he can't talk, but he knows how to make a noise. So he just squeaks periodically every 15 seconds. So
Hey, I have a question for you.
Please.
What did the Angels do?
The Angels played Texas, and Texas won 3 out of 4. And I mentioned, Jim, this series had some emotion around it because this was the first time the Angels returned to Texas since the Tyler Skaggs passing. So there's some emotions around that. On the baseball field, Jim, this was what I was telling you at the end of the wrap there. The first game and the last game were both 8-7 walk-off wins for Texas.
Oh, a lot of walk-offs this week then. Dodgers
Walk
had two.
walk off
Texas had two. Braves had one. Mets had one. A lot of walk offs.
walk off
Wow.
watch.
All right. We're moving on. Moving on up. Two. Do I have a sound effect for this? I think I just did this last time. Well, let's do this one. Jake, what's your standout performance on the week?
Standout performance. Well, Jim, you go first. So what's your standout performance?
Ooh, my standout performance is a friend, Tim Melville. Ever heard of him?
Oh my God. I mean, it's Trout, Melville, Kershaw. I mean, they're the players that we're going to remember.
Tim Melville been bouncing around the minors. He was a fourth round pick in 2008. He's been up in the majors before 2016, 2017. He hadn't been up in 2 years. They needed the Colorado Rockies needed an emergency starter. Jake, in Arizona they needed an emergency starter. Tim Melville gets the call. He comes up to face Arizona. He goes 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 hits, 1 earned run. He had 2 RBIs as well. He had a base knock and then a sac bunt for RBI. I mean, just emergency starter gets called up. You never know. You may think your time's up. So there's one reason. There's a fun story about how in his off season he doesn't like. He gives like I don't want to go golf in the off season. So he just started working for a barbecue shop, like doing like kind of grunt work and like everything to help set up a bar in Arizona. So right next to the stadium. So a lot of his coworkers at the barbecue shop came to watch him pitch. Just put on a hell of a performance. Now, Tim Melville is a friend of the program. You know what he did to celebrate this great performance, Jake?
Got to get some barbecue, no?
He went to shop.johnboymedia.com and bought himself an I Love Baseball shirt in Rockies colors. He follows me. He's
Wow,
a friend of the program. Yeah. So, Timmy Melville, standout performance on the field and on our website.
Yeah, how about that? We support Tim Melville, he supports us.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, and that's funny. Jim, I volunteered at the Denver Barbecue Festival last year, and yeah, unless you're the king of the barbecue pit, everything else is grunt work. there's not really a middle area, except Mama June, who was working for one of the Kansas City barbecue crews. Mama June got to do whatever she wanted, but yeah, I mean Tim Melville, man. I mean it's awesome. It's baseball, and I as I already said, the barbecue part of it's so fun because I'm picturing all the other people that worked there that were like, oh yeah, dude, you're a baseball player. You just work at a barbecue place in the off season. Okay, Tim. And then he goes out and he has a great game. And it's like, oh, wait, Tim, the barbecue dude?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good for him, huh?
Fan of us.
I mean, it's a really good outing. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits.
Yeah, Jim, and I was looking for a cool phrase for it, and maybe one of our listeners will tweet at you at John Boy or me at Talkin Jake and tell us because Jim, this is a point in the NL piggy bank. It's going to be universal DH one day, but it is a little more fun that Tim Melville had this start and he did get a hit and some ribbies. And, I think there's going to be a day soon where that doesn't happen and we'll have a couple people complain about it because it doesn't make a better product. But in this moment, it makes it a little more fun.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to have to make a trip to his barbecue place. You like food, right?
Oh, twist my arm. I don't know. Maybe I'll be in Lake Eufaula forever, but yeah, I can make a trip to the barbecue place.
Who is your standout performance?
Jim or my standout performance. He was a guy that got mentioned in the AL report. The girl from Ipanema, the guy named Giolito, Lucas Giolito, 9 innings pitched for your Chicago White Sox. 9 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 12 Ks, Jim. And so, A, he's been really good lately, and B, that's a really great start. But if you don't know, I mean, the story here is so good, and I mean, it's baseball in a nutshell. This guy led the league in earned runs allowed in walks in 2018. I mean, he basically looked like a huge bust. Is a big time pitching prospect from the Nationals to the White Sox. He got destroyed. He was terrible. And Jim, this year he's been great. He made the All Star team. He's now 14-6 with a 3.2 ERA. His K per nine has basically doubled. That's good. All pitching coaches should teach their guys to do that, I guess. And Jim, in his last 5 starts, I mean, he's basically in fuego too. 34 innings pitched, 2.12 ERA, 53 Ks in 34 innings. Jim, that's pretty insane. And Jim, I've got one more final note that I know you're a big fan of and a big believer in. Jim, Giolito started to struggle. Um, he had 4 bad starts in July after having a great start. It was 21.2 innings, a 7.06 ERA, and it seemed like prototypical. Okay, the league catching up. We're getting eyes on this guy a second time. Is this how it's? No, the book's out on Giolito. Now he's going to get knocked around. No, man. Giolito's been great. He's back at it, and I mean, good for the White Sox, who they're starting to get on that 2020 hype train too.
Most impressive thing is that it's in Minnesota, which is a wind factory. 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, and it's his 3rd start with double-digit Ks in a row. I put him on in Fuego last week because he had 2 in a row, 13 and 11. He split the difference, got 12 Ks this time. He's got a 2.12 ERA in his last 5 games started. He's allowed 8 earned runs and 34 innings pitched. He's on a hell of a stretch right now. So, yeah, good pick. I mean, in Minnesota to do that is pretty wild. The Indians say thank you. You there? Uh-oh. Might be huge delay time again.
Indians.
Okay. Hopefully we don't get into Delayville. But we will see. Here we go. Let's move on, Jake, to Slump Watch.
Put me out of a job.
Yep. Slump Watch. First, we got to update you with the people that are on Slump Watch. See how they did. Max Kepler got put on Slump Watch, I think, 2 series ago. He played 2 games, Jake. He went 2 for 9. He had 2 hits in the first game, 0 hits in the second game, but his 2 hits were a double and a home run. So I'm taking him off. What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like he was fringy last week, and he's had 2 fringies. I guess, hey, we talked about different ways to get off Slump Watch. A double fringy.
A double fringy. Josh Hader did not pitch, so he's still on.
Tough.
Now we got Jordan Alvarez. You put him on. So he only went 2 for 11 in this set, but he had 5 walks. So he had a 438 on base percentage, so he's off.
And yeah, I thought Jordan was off last week. I thought he got it going, but
Well, maybe. Cole Hamels, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, got the win versus the Giants. Is that good enough for you?
quality start, man. He's off.
No claps, though.
No claps, Cole, okay?
Carlos Correa, he was here. He was having a brutal stretch. Turns out he's injured. He goes on the IL with lower back issues, but the MRI showed no structural damage. He only played 2 innings, so that's one way to get off Slump Watch, right?
One of the best ways to get off Slump Watch, the old injured move.
Another Astro. Did you put all the Astros on the other week? Well, Altuve.
I think they were on a little bit ago. There was a couple Astros that were in a tough spot.
4 for 13 with 3 walks, so I'm taking Altuve off.
Clear.
And Austin Meadows, the Rays, he went 4 for 13 with 2 doubles, a home run, and 4 RBIs this series. Everyone's getting off. Josh Hader's the only one left on.
Tough, man. And he didn't pitch. Hey, Josh Hader, that's not how you get off, man.
Yeah.
Fake an injury at least.
Yep. All right. Well, here are the new additions. We have Chesler Cuthbert from your Kansas City Royals, Jake.
From the country club.
Yeah. I think he's from Venezuela? The Venezuelan country club? Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, he had a great start to the season. Nicaragua. It's from Nicaragua, not Venezuela. My apologies. Jake, he's been so brutal. I mean, he had a really good start to the year. At one point, he was hitting 310. On June 28th, he was hitting 310. He lingered in the 280s forever. He's down to 253 because he has gone 0 for his last 37 plate appearances.
Is he sneaking up on Chris Davis?
I have no idea. 0 for his last 37 plate appearances with 1 walk mixed in. So if you're that pitcher, go feel bad for yourself that you walked Chesler Cuthbert in the middle of this stretch.
Man, that's brutal, Jim. I know you said the stats there, but I mean, Chelser Cuthbert is sitting there in June saying like 310. I'm gonna have a great year, and now it's like, oh, am I a major leaguer? Baseball.
It's crazy. It's brutal. He's definitely on slump watch. Let's see. Chris Davis started the season with 0 hits in his first 38 plate appearances.
Right, but he was a part of. I think part of it was from last year too.
Yeah,
I
it rolled over.
Like 53 or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, well, he is on slump watch. Now we have some other ones
Approaching that, which is nuts.
This might be a whopper plopper in name, but Puig, the Indians got swept. Good pitching. The Mets have good pitching, but Puig goes 0 for 12 in the 3 games. He had been super hot since the trade. This is his first rough stretch of a couple games in a row. I think he has 0 hits in his last 4 games, actually. So Puig's on slump watch. I think he'll get off, but not a good outing by him.
I know something you liked about Puig was that the Cleveland just penciled him into their cleanup spot and basically said, "Go get it."
Yeah.
And he's been killing it, which is huge. And then you run into that Mets pitching, babe.
Yeah. I also have G-Man Choi on here.
Your guy.
I like G-Man, but he's 0 for his last 15. He had no hits this series. He did have 3 walks, but no hits. He had the walk-off, I think, to end the series before, and he comes off that and goes 0 for 15. Not good, G-Man. Get off this. Get off this. We're rooting for you. We're all rooting for you.
We're all rooting for you, G-Man. And they had that nice walk-off celebration. Come on, G-Man. Jim, the guy I threw up on here, I feel like it's tough to throw the pitchers on here sometimes. I'm going Jose Barrios. He has 1 decent start mixed in there, but he couldn't get out of the 4th inning last time. And Jim, this is more so a penalty out of how good of a year he's having. I mean, Jose Barrios for the Twins has a 3.37 ERA. But in his last 3 starts, the Braves, Cleveland, and at Texas. So 2 really good teams and a tough stadium, but I mean, that's what you're going to see in the playoffs. So an 8.44 ERA over those last 3. So I threw Jose Barrios on there. I'm sorry. It's nice. I like the goatee, but.
Sorry about it, Jose. And then we have an addition from the chat. I didn't have him on here, but Hayden Cart says he's got to be on here. Brad Hand. And I looked it up. And Brad Hand's going hater on us, Jake. His last 4 outings, he has 7 earned runs. He has an earned run in his last 4 outings, 3 blown games. They picked him up twice with the blown win back-to-back. That was nice of his teammates. But, yeah, he hasn't been good, man. Wow.
And that's crazy, Jim. And when we saw him in Cleveland, and we saw him after, but when he's right, he can give any left-handed pitcher in this league a run for their money. He can be just wipeout.
Yeah. Well, not wipe out right now. Getting wiped out.
Instead of wiping people out, it's like he's getting wiped out, dude. Back to you.
Wow. Okay, next.
Dirt nasties on fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
In Fuego. Yo, Tom Murphy, you mentioned him. He's hitting home runs like they're going out of style. We did the Mariners for elevator watch and you said, the Mariners have good backstops, Tom Murphy numbers are exciting. He's the catcher for the Mariners. He had 3 home runs this week. He only played 2 games because he's a catcher day and night. So 2 games. He has 3 home runs in the 2 games. He has a hit in every game played this August. It's 8 games. He's played 8 games in August. He has a hit in every single game. And he's slashing .433 batting average, .469 on base percentage, 1.602 slugging. Tom Murphy is on fire for Seattle. And I don't think anyone knows his name, to be honest. You're muted.
Jim, Tom
Yeah.
Murphy. I was going to give him my standout performance, but it's he almost more deserves than Fuego over the standout performance for his 2 home run game in Tampa. Jim, he's got a home run in his last 4 games, including 2 home run games. His last 4 games, he's got 6 homers. The dude's going nuts right now. And Jim, know how we just complimented your guy of the week, Timmy Mells? Jim, the National League, Tom Murphy basically